You're taking a stroll down the street, heading towards your favorite ice cream or place or shop, when suddenly you hear the little tone and the little buzz in your pocket, alerting you that you have a text message. So without thinking much about it, you reach your hand into your pocket and you pull out your cell phone and you start texting back. And you're in the middle of your reply when all of a sudden, bam! You go headfirst into the street post that you didn't see because your eyes were nowhere near the horizon. Instead, they were pointed right down at the small screen of blue light that's in your hand. Okay, I get it. That example is a little exaggerated. Okay? The data, however, is not. According to a recent poll conducted by Deloitte Global Mobile, U.S. smartphone owners check their phones on average about 47 times a day. 85% admitted to using it while they were talking to family and friends. Over 80% checked their phones an hour after getting up and an hour before going to bed. 35% admitted to doing it within 5 minutes of going to sleep. The Journal of Sleep Medicine reports that in 2015, 4 out of 10 teens spent less or slept less than 7 hours a night, up 58% since 1991, 17% since 2009 when smartphones became popular. On a more serious note, however, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety and Administration Board, in 2016 alone, 3,450 lives were lost due to distracted driving. 391,000 people were injured in 2015 because of accidents caused by distracted drivers. Teens were reported as the largest age group to be distracted at the time of a fatal crash. Cell phone addiction is a growing problem. It is affecting our relationships, our health, and in some cases, killing us. Have you ever gone out to dinner with your family and noticed that everyone was on their phones? Do you even remember the dinner conversations? How about at home? When spending time with your kids or significant other? I have 2 kids, ages 5 and 1. And my 5-year-old, she's bright, she's very smart. She catches on to things very quickly and she says some of the funniest things sometimes. My 1-year-old is constantly showing my wife and I new things, whether it's some new word that he now knows or some silly dance that he's done or is doing to music. But there's been several occasions, however, when I hear my wife say, "Honey, look at Lincoln," only to look up too late because I was spending more time on my cell phone scrolling through Facebook than I was with my family. And it's all because I couldn't put down my phone. Health is affected too. I know at the end of the day, my eyes are strained and tired because of all the blue light that comes from my phone. My neck is sore, and my thumb feels weird because I spend all my time craned over this little phone, my thumb scrolling through Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, it also affects mental health. On more than one occasion, I've had trouble going to sleep at night because I was stressed out from what I was reading on Twitter. All the fights, political arguments, all the discourses that take place on social media, all have effect on your brain. It leaves me feeling angry, sad, and stressed. So stressed, in fact, that I do sometimes have trouble falling asleep. And speaking of sleeping, several studies have shown that using a smart device before bed affects a person's ability to fall asleep. Overuse of cell phones can really do some damage. There's also issues with distracted driving. We see it in the news and on the media all the time. Horrific accidents in the news, PSAs about distracted driving. And yet, when out driving, it's not hard to see somebody in the driver's seat glancing down at their phone. I know I do it myself Usually I'm picking out a song on Spotify or replying to a quick text message from my wife. For some reason, that simple text message that could wait, or the song that I could have picked before I started the car, are worth more than my life, the lives of the people in the car with me, and the lives of everyone else on the road. We need to put down our phones. We need to talk face to face with one another. We need to put down the phones and spend some quality time with our families and our friends. We need to put down the phones and actually enjoy the outdoors or have meaningful dinner conversations. We need to put down our phones and live our lives beyond the dimensions of the tiny screens, the avatars, the pictures, the tweets, and all that it comes with. Life coach Justin Stenstrom, in an article he wrote for lifehack.com, lists 8 things that happen when you put down your phone. First, he says you become more productive. This makes sense. You spend less time scrolling through your news feed and more time actually accomplishing the goals that you set for yourself. Second, he says you become more social. Think about this. When you're spending time with somebody and you pull out your phone, what you're actually saying to that person is, I value the time that I spend on this thing more than I spend with you. Instead, if you put down the phone, you actually can converse with that person and have a social relationship with them. Third, you could become less stressed. No more anxiety from social media posts. No more anxiety about what others think about you. And this is all because of the fourth reason, or the fourth thing that happens. You start to live in the moment. You are there. The web portal is closed. You're no longer connected to the rest of the world, but you're now in the room where you actually are. You don't have to think about responses or likes or comments. You only have to think about the now. Fifth, you live in reality, not virtual reality. Instead of a virtual life, you get to experience real life. Instead of looking at the pictures of food on Instagram, you actually get to make and taste that food. Sixth, your relationships could improve. As I stated earlier, it is actually really insulting to be in the middle of a conversation with somebody and to pull out your phone and to start scrolling through your feed. Instead of giving the attention to this little thing, you now give the attention to the person that you are with, which is what they deserve. And seventh, you feel more empowered. You can make decisions based upon what you want, not on what everyone else thinks. Because everybody on the internet has an opinion. All these things lead up to the 8th point. When you put down your phones, you actually become happier. So I challenge you all to put down your phones. It doesn't have to be a dynamic change. It could take place in baby steps. Start by turning it off before you get into bed so you're not tempted to look at it in bed. And when you start noticing positive effects from that, add to it. Start by putting it down an hour before bedtime, or resolving to not take out your phone during dinner. Start by putting it down less often and being less reliant on it. Doing so, you'll see less stress and less anxiety. And what you'll see instead is improved relationships, improved health, and happiness, as well as the pole that's in front of your face. Thank you.